Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyan. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayinim Ambhatva manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. Oh Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters. O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki. O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and today we are on the last shloka of the 17th aśraddhayā, the Shraddha Vibhaga Yoga. Today we are going to complete reading from the 17th aśraddhayā, the 17th chapter, and Sri Krishna, while telling us a great deal about the different types of Shraddha, the threefold Shraddhas that the beings they beget based on their inherent tendencies. If they are sattvic, if they are rajasic, or they are tamasic, accordingly those Shraddhas they beget depending on their inherent tendencies. And these the different type of Shraddha, they kind of force each and every being to act in certain manner. How the Shraddha is, that same way that person will behave. And then Sri Krishna says, whichever is the Shraddha, people will either act towards gaining purity or act just to remain at the same level in the mediocre way, or maybe if they are doing extremely wrong, the evil actions, because of that tamasic Shraddha, maybe they will get downgraded. But Sri Krishna says that doesn't matter, that if they utter, if they chant Om Tat Sat with whichever activity they are doing, if they chant Om Tat Sat, all the actions, all the activities, all the tasks they are going to undertake, whether it is a yatnya or a tapas or a dana or any other activity, that gets converted into activity for a good cause. That gets converted into activity with a positive outcome. And then Sri Krishna says that how this each word of this mystic mantra, the Om Tat Sat, how each word takes us forward, how each word contributes to getting rid of the negativity attached to any action because of that type of Shraddha, because of that threefold Shraddha that everyone has. So to eliminate all the negativity, to eliminate all the ill influences of the tasks we are doing, if we happen to be dominated by the tamasic Shraddha or the rajasic Shraddha, then uttering Om Tat Sat and each and every element of this Om Tat Sat, the Om, which takes us to the state of the Brahmavadin, the all-knower, which takes us to the state of knowing the ultimate reality, the ultimate Brahman. That is the power of Om. The power of Tat, it takes us towards liberation. It takes us towards the getting rid of this repeated births and deaths, cycle of repeated births and deaths. That is the power in that word Tat. And Sat, Sri Krishna says, Sri Krishna has elaborated the greatness of Sat in not just one shloka, but two shlokas. He has elaborated the greatness of Sat in each and every aspect that is they're designated by the ultimate reality, by the ultimate truth, by the ultimate purity, the integrity. All these things, they determine Sat. Sat determines all these things, Sri Krishna says. Sat is reality, Sat is truth, Sat is purity. And whichever act, whichever work, whichever task is undertaken by uttering Sat, Sri Krishna says, that task becomes auspicious, prashaste karmani. And finally, Sri Krishna says, whether you are doing yajna or tapas or dana, uttering Sat, doing any of these things steadfastly with firm conviction, doing any of these acts, yajna or tapas or dana, or any act for that matter, understanding very well that it is the Lord's act, understanding very well that it is the work of the ultimate Parama Purusha. When we do any act in that spirit, with that understanding, with that realization, Sri Krishna says, even that act becomes Sat. Yajne tapasi dane cha sthitihi asadityucyate karma chaiva tadarthiyam Sat iti eva abhidhiyate. That activity itself becomes Sat. So that is the greatness of Sat. And that is how Sri Krishna said, the Om Tat Sat, uttering Om Tat Sat, it elevates a person from going downwards to the highest level of realization. It elevates a person to the level of liberation, even to the level of moksha, to the level of nirvana. And to end this chapter on Shraddhatraya Vibhaga, Sri Krishna finally in the 28th Shloka is telling us that any act which is done without Shraddha, that is the worst thing to happen. Have Shraddha, whether it is Sattvic, whether it is Rajasic, whether it is Tamasic, but with that Shraddha and uttering Om Tat Sat, you will reach the ultimate destination. Just don't worry about any other influences, the negative vibes, the negative influences. Don't think of anything, but have Shraddha. And why that is so, Sri Krishna is telling us now. Aśraddhayā hutaṃ dattaṃ tapastaptaṃ kṛtaṃ yat asadityucyate pārtha na ca tatpretya no iha. Sri Krishna says that anything which is done without any faith, without any Shraddha, aśraddhayā hutaṃ dattaṃ tapaha taptaṃ kṛtaṃ yat. Whether it is dattaṃ, whether it is dana, whether it is the gift that we give, whether it is the tapas that we do, or whether it is hutaṃ, the sacrifice, the yajna that we do. Now we have already discussed earlier about how this yajna, tapas and dana, they are kind of examples connoting all the actions we are performing in our day-to-day life. So Sri Krishna says, any of these activities done without Shraddha, aśraddhayā hutaṃ dattaṃ tapaha taptaṃ ca kṛtaṃ yat. Any activity that is done without faith, any activity that is done without that intense faith, that with intense conviction that I'm going to do something for in a selfless manner. When we do it that way, but when we don't do the things with that selfless manner, when we do the things without any faith, faith in the task or faith in the action itself or faith in ourselves, then Sri Krishna says, what happens? Sat iti uccate partha na ca tatpretya no iha. That action committed without any Shraddha is as good as asat, which is as good as non-existent work. I mean, I say, you consider you have not done it at all. If you are doing anything which is without the faith in doing that work, just make sure, just understand, just consider that you have not done anything. Whatever efforts you have put in doing that work without faith, all efforts are in vain. All that activity is of no use at all. That austerity is asat. you have not done anything. It is not true at all. It has not existed at all, that activity which you have done, because you have done it without any Shraddha. And then Sri Krishna says that ultimately that nacha tatpretya no iha. You for such an action done without any Shraddha, it is of no account here or hereafter. Forget about you getting any results here. It is a different matter that we are not supposed to why for any results, why for any fruits. But every action inherently produces its fruit, and it gets accumulated in our account, in our book of accounts. Whether it is a holy or unholy, whether it is pious or whether it is sinful, all these things. We may not focus on the fruit of the action, but when done with aśraddhayā, when done without any faith, then automatically that thinking about the fruit of the action that I'm doing, automatically that comes in. And then Sri Krishna says, such task done, whether it is a yajna, whether it is tapas, whether it is dana, or any other task done, it is as good as not done anything. And not done anything because we cannot remain without karma. So when you don't do anything in reality, it is as good as there is no use here and the hereafter. That activity that we have performed is no good for this life or for the next lives that we are going to come again and again into this creation. So there is no account for that activity here or hereafter. That is the most unfortunate situation, when people start doing work, people start performing tasks without any faith in them, without any faith in the way they are doing the task, or without any faith that this work I am doing is the Lord's work. If there is no faith, then it is of no use. So Sri Krishna beautifully ends this 17th adhyaya saying that whatever you do, you do with Shraddha. Whichever is that Shraddha, whether it is Satvik Shraddha, Rajasik Shraddha, Tamasik Shraddha, that doesn't matter. But do it with some conviction that I am doing it as an instrument of the Lord. I am doing this work, it is the Lord's work. And then automatically uttering Om Tat Sat before starting any work, before starting any activity, with whichever Shraddha we start that work, automatically that gets transformed. It is like touching the philosopher's stone, that magic wand, that all the negativities, they get transformed into the highly powerful, highly positive tasks, highly positive outcomes for that matter. And therefore, to end this adhyaya, Sri Krishna says, have Shraddha, because anything done without Shraddha is of no use at all. You cannot consider that work has been done, and then it is no use here or hereafter. So do anything that you are going to take with Shraddha. Have that firm faith. And on this faith, I have collected a few of the quotations of Swami Vivekananda. He was a firm believer in this Shraddha, that everyone must have Shraddha. In fact, Swamiji, at one point of time, he said, you throw away you may not have Shraddha on all those, crores of gods and goddesses. You may have Shraddha on 300 crore gods and goddesses, but if you don't have Shraddha on yourself, it is of no use. That is what Swami Vivekananda had talked about. Shraddha in ourselves, faith in ourselves will do everything. This is what Swamiji said. I have experienced it in my own life, and I am still doing so. And as I grow older, that faith is becoming stronger and stronger, that Shraddha is becoming stronger and stronger. And then Swamiji said, Swami Vivekananda, faith is not just belief. It is the grasp on the ultimate. It is the grasp on illumination, enlightenment. That is Shraddha. So have faith in man. Again, Swamiji said that have faith in your destiny, have faith in yourself, and stand up on that faith and be strong. That is what we need. This particular quote of Swamiji's, I always like it so much, that that do not disturb the faith of anyone. You have your faith. Let others have their faith, and let everybody propagate his own faith. And one day all that Shraddha will ultimately come together, whether my faith, whether his faith, whether her faith. And faith in ourselves, faith in God, that is the secret of greatness. If you have faith in all the 330 millions of your mythological gods, this is what Swamiji actually he had said. You may have faith in all three. These are the mythological gods, which are there in the scriptures, in the Puranas. 330 millions of your mythological gods, you may have faith. But still, if you have no faith in yourself, if you have no Shraddha in yourself, there is no salvation for you. There is no liberation for you. There is no enlightenment for you, Swamiji said. So here Swamiji was a profound, follower of and the preacher of this self-Shraddha, Shraddha in the self. So this is what the power of Shraddha is. Sri Krishna says, do anything with Shraddha. Doing anything without Shraddha is absolutely no good. You may do, for the sake of it, it may look to be a good task, but if it is done without Shraddha, it doesn't take us a step forward on this long journey of liberation. It doesn't take us even an inch forward, even a centimeter forward, if it is done without Shraddha. So even for that matter, apparently the work activity that is being done may look evil, but if done with Shraddha, then it has the tendency, it has the potency, the Shraddha, done with the spirit of Om Tat Sat, it has the potency of even transforming that evil deed into Sat, into the ultimate truth, into the ultimate reality, into the ultimate salvation. But even a good karma which is done with the selfish motive, with the self-interest, with the idea of self-glorification, and which is done without any Shraddha. Because the moment Shraddha comes, the element of self-gratification, the element of selfishness, automatically it comes down when we utter Om Tat Sat. So even good karma done with the selfish end is asat for that matter. It has no relevance, it has no significance, it has no existence. So Sri Krishna now ends this chapter of Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga telling us with a firm teaching that do anything you are doing with faith, intense faith in yourself, with that Shraddha in yourself, with Shraddha in the task that you are doing, and with Shraddha that this is the Lord's work that I am doing. I am just an instrument. Have that Shraddha. Have that Shraddha being an instrument in the hands of the Lord in performing that task, and that task will become Sat. That task will take us to liberation. That task will take us to Tat. That is Sri Krishna's a very strong message to end this 17th adhyaya of Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga Nama Saptadashodhyaya. In the Upanishad of the Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of Brahman, the Supreme, the science of yoga, and the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, this is the 17th discourse designated the yoga of the threefold Shraddha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.